Today we are going to discuss a topic near and dear to my heart that nearly no one else seems to know about. And it's not that no one else seems to know about it, it's just that they don't ever emphasize this part of my hero's story. Now, for those of you who've been with my channel for a while, you know that I am a Latter-day Saint, or in other words, a Mormon. Now, in the Book of Mormon, there are many heroes and many figures that stand out in that book. One of them is named Captain Moroni. And if you have been on this channel, you know that Captain Moroni is the icon that you see on the screen for my channel. He is the avatar of my channel, as it were. Captain Moroni is known for several things. He's known for raising the title of liberty to inspire and rally his people to fight for their liberty and for their faith. He's also known for being a man of sound character, a good guy. It is said of Captain Moroni that if all men were like unto him, that the very gates of hell would be shaken and Satan would never have any power over the hearts of men. That is just a primer to the figure known in the Book of Mormon as Captain Moroni. But the story I'm going to share with you is a bit of an introduction and one of the dirtier, grittier stories of Captain Moroni's exploits, as he was the chief captain of all of the armies of his nation, which, by the way, he took control of at the young and tender age of 25. What is significant about Captain Moroni is it is known that he is not a man who loves bloodshed. He only goes to war to preserve the life and liberty of his people. But this story is a little different, and because it's different, there aren't many instances of it being taught or explored. So I am going to break down to you the events unfolding in Alma chapter 51. And in Alma chapter 51, the government is being shaken up by a group of individuals called the Kingmen. The Kingmen wanted to alter the laws of their land so that they, the Kingmen, would have special privileges and noble titles in their nation. And with these titles, they would have perks, privilege, honor, title, all those grand things. Well, the chief judge of the land, his name was Pahoran, did not listen to these kingmen, and he rejected them soundly. Well, the kingmen did not take kindly to this, and they decided to try and dethrone Pahoran by vote, which they lost. The kingmen lost the vote to have and make themselves kings and nobles in this nation. Subsequently, and almost serendipitously, this is the time in which the enemies of the Nephites came to their borders and began to attack. This was the point in which these kingmen decided, you know what? We're not going to fight for our liberty. We wanted to be kings. We wanted to be nobles. We wanted to be superior than all the rest. We're not going to fight. Well, that, in so many words, pissed off Moroni. It made him fierce. The idea that these people, whom he had fought to protect, would not return the favor, would not join in the cause of defending the lives of their fellow countrymen and defending their liberties, that was unacceptable to Moroni's mind. So he did what should have been the most reasonable course of action. He went to the people, and he made a petition with them and he said, I want the power and the authority to go to these dissenters, these kingmen, and force them to defend this nation or die. He then brought this petition, mind you, with the voice and will of the people, to the chief judge, who, being a pragmatic being, if not an outright patriotic one, granted this request, seeing as Captain Moroni had already secured the will and approval of the citizens. And then Captain Moroni, upon having his petition approved, went and executed the order. Now here's something that's a little different than most other, shall we say, coups of this nature. Wasn't really a coup if you're punching down, I suppose. But Captain Moroni went to each of these dissenters in their houses and their industries and demanded, you will now be conscripted and fight for the cause of liberty, or you will be put to death. That day, Captain Moroni slaughtered 4,000 of his own countrymen because they refused to fight for their countrymen. And what is even more interesting is that as he did so, he did not despoil, plunder, or take any of the goods or wealth or ramparts that they had built. In fact, he leveled them to the earth. He couldn't be bothered with any of it. And that is Captain Moroni, in a story that very few, even today, even with it being clearly in the Book of Mormon, it's a story that very few people are willing to expound upon and consider in their studies. And I like this story, and I believe that he was a good and righteous man. I think what he did was perfectly acceptable before man and before God. When you are a beneficiary of the blessings of liberty and freedom, and you fail and openly come against those same liberties for others, your liberty becomes forfeit. Moroni understood that principle. He lived it and he executed it. And I am grateful to have men like Captain Moroni to be my example in these very desperate and trying times for me and my fellow countrymen. I hope this finds you well, and I hope that you will always remember to make a stand for those who maybe can't defend themselves. And I also hope that you don't do anything foolish. This is not a call for violence. Captain Moroni did what he did, and he did it the right and procedural way of what can only be described as an ancient liberal civilization. They had democracy, they had procedure, and those procedures were followed by Captain Moroni, despite the fact that their consequences and their edicts were far from what we weakened modern people would consider to be unsavory or uncouth. But such is the price of freedom at times, is it not? Anyways, stay carnal and God bless.